Hey guys, today I'm going to be giving you some speed reviews on all the new makeup that I tried this past month, and I actually have a ton of things, but a lot of these are products that were declared to me by my friend Jean and Laura from Discerning Spark. A few of these things are PR, some are purchases, so they're all new to me, but only some of these are brand new products, so hopefully you guys will still be interested in hearing my thoughts. So first I had a couple of primers. The Essence Hello Good Stuff Primer Serum that is supposed to hydrate and plump. I didn't love the blueberry scent to this, and I honestly just don't feel like it did anything for me, so this is something that is being decluttered. Then I had the Hard Candy Hydrating Primer, which is supposed to be a hydrating gripping primer. I just gave that away to my friend Lauren. I think that it did like a decent job of holding my makeup on, but it is just too hydrating for my oily skin. And when I was testing that, I was doing like half face with that and the other half with the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. And I think that this is just okay. I do think that this one worked better for me. It's a little bit less hydrating. I don't love a super tacky primer, and I feel like it doesn't necessarily make a difference in the way my makeup wears, but it didn't apply funny or anything. This is something that I was trying to declutter as well, but I didn't have a friend that was interested, and I'm down here, so I might end up just keeping this and trying to pan it. I might do that and see if I change my mind on it, but just gripping primers are not for me. I prefer a smoothing primer. Then I have a couple of foundations that I did do first impressions and wear test on. I will have those linked down below. I did 12-hour wear test. So first we have the Viral Tier Mask Fit Red Cushion Foundation. I have the color 13 in Fair Ivory. It is a little light for me after I set with powder, but I'm able to make it work with bronzer. The undertone is great, and this does give really great medium buildable coverage. You get more coverage if you apply it with this sponge, but that's not my favorite method. I like using just my regular Real Technique sponge, but I might apply it with this and then do the finishing touch blend with the Real Techniques. But I have only ever used one cushion foundation in the past, the one from Maybelline eons ago, and I feel like this wore really nicely. I was a little bit greasy, but not terrible. It did break up a bit by the end of the day, especially on my chin, around my nose, areas where I touch my face a lot, but I was very, very impressed with the longevity of this. Something that I definitely would recommend really for all skin types. And then what I'm wearing today is the Urban Decay Face Bond Foundation. Let me go ahead and toss the box because this, I made it. This is staying. This is also the shade 3 Fair Warm, which is a perfect match for me. I feel like it was looking a little bit light, but then really after everything else is on, it blends in perfectly. It's a great warm undertone without being like crazy yellow orange. It is fantastic. I also think that this gives medium to full coverage, and it wears really nice on the skin. I do need to set it. I set everything, but it looks so good. And when I touched up throughout the day when I was oily, these just looked perfect all over again. So I really recommend both of these. I think they're great. This one might be a little bit more mattifying, but highly recommend the both of them and was very impressed. Then for cheek products, I had the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Cream Bronzer in #1 Fair, and this is definitely more of a neutral undertone, which I think is nice and looks very pretty on the skin. This is a little bit of a thicker, slightly stiffer cream. I was still able to blend this onto my skin, but it wasn't as creamy as some other things I've been using recently, but I didn't have any issues with that. It doesn't break up my makeup when I put it on over top, although I am very careful about the way that I'm blending it onto the skin, especially because this is a slightly stiffer product, but I'm really impressed with it. I do think it is really nice. However, I don't think this is insanely better than other cream bronzers that I have, but I do really enjoy it, and it does come with a ton of product. And then I tried the Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Bronzer in Light. This is a bit more of a sheer bronzer, so I think light medium would actually be a little bit better for me. But I do think that this looks very beautiful, especially up along my hairline, where I tend to look crazy with bronzer. And I do have a couple other bronzers in my collection that I was liking because they were more sheer one being the Huda Beauty Glowish, and as I've been using it more, I feel like it's just not it, and I think that this would be a great replacement for me as my nice like subtle bronzer. But I was happy with this formula. Again, it is a little bit more sheer. It is not a powdery formula, so I feel like you do need to dig your brush in there, so I would probably prefer it if it was a little bit more powdery. I don't mind powdery cheek products, so not my favorite of all time, but definitely something that I would be hanging on to. Then for cheeks, I have some cream blushes. First is from Persona. This is the shade Bloom that was created in collaboration with Sarah Wolak, who just got married, which is so exciting. This is a perfect color for me. I love this gorgeous warm pink. It is light and bright at the same time. This looked beautiful. This is a really nice creamy formula, and it's not too matte, it's not too dewy. I think this is fantastic. They just came out with 2 more shades that I definitely want to buy when they come to Ulta. I'm so glad this is still available even a year later. Highly recommend, and I absolutely love it. So that is a win for sure. Then I tested out the Rose Ink cream blushes. My friend Lauren gave these to me. Rose Ink is being like revamped because Rosie Huntington Whiteley, is that her name, is leaving the company, so they're doing a bit of like a refresh, rebrand. So these cream blushes, if you can tell by this one, are very, very wet and dewy, so I again feel like I need to be a little bit careful when I apply them so that it's not really messing up my products underneath, but it's not bad. And with both of these, I was applying them under powder and then putting a touch more on top of powder. This one worked better than this one. Again, I had to use just a touch of it and just tap it onto the cheeks. It does stay tacky, which I know is not everybody's favorite. If you can tell, this one, it almost looks like we have like a cream lipstick here. This one is like so wet. I have heard from people that these do expire a little bit quickly. It says it has a 12-month shelf life, but this is a clean brand. But this is the color Foxglove. Then we have Wisteria and Daylily. I definitely like Daylily and Wisteria a little bit more, and the color might be a little bit deeper on those than how it's looking because I probably got a little bit of foundation on those, because I actually did use them several times. I really do like these though. They're beautiful colors and nice formula. For the discounted price, if they're still available, go for it. But if I had to pick a formula, I would pick the Persona, but I really did like the shade range of the Rose Ink. Then I have a couple of cheek duos. This is the Natasha Denona Cupid cheek duo that they made for BoxyCharm. You have the cream blush that's just called Glow Cream Base, and the highlight is Glow Universal Pinkish Beige. And this cream blush is a little bit more on the sheer side, but it is buildable. I did get a lot of color. I'm wearing this today, and it does have a dewy finish. So for me, I definitely need to set it. I think it looked really beautiful though. And then the powder highlight is not my favorite. I think it's a little bit thick, and I have tried other highlighters from her, like the one in the Glam Face Palette. I definitely like that one more than this one. So this is something that I'm gonna play with a little bit more, but I might end up decluttering in the future just because I have so many things and I like it but don't love it. But if you guys see this on BoxyCharm pop up, if they still do that and it's a good price, definitely pick it up. It's not a bad product. I just don't know if it's incredible considering all the stuff I have. Speaking of Natasha Denona, this is the My Mini Dream Glow Blush. My friend Jean loved this, so I picked it up with an Ulta coupon a couple months ago. So you have a highlight and 2 blushes, and I think the formula is nice. This is too small. I mean, she should have made it like come out to here or here. I wish this was a little bit bigger because it's just not as easy to keep your brush right in the blush. I mean, you definitely have to mix the blushes together because there's no way you're fitting the brush just on one of them. And I will say that this is fine. The color was pretty, the formula was nice. I'm not gonna return it because it was $20. I had a $10 off coupon, so I made only 10 bucks. So for $10, you know, it's fine, but I would not buy this full price. I have several other blushes I like over it. It was just okay. Then this is something that I got at the very end of last year and I'm just now testing because of the colors. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Blush and Glow Glide palette, and this is the lighter version. So you have a matte blush and a shimmery highlight. I love this like bright warm pink coral blush, and the highlight is a little bit more of a pinky tone, which I don't really feel like those two shades go together. I feel like this should have been a little bit more champagne, but I think that the formula of these were great. Very pigmented, very smooth. I am happy to have this because I think this was like $25 or $30, which is a really good price. Then we have some highlighters. So this is something that I had picked up during 21 Days of Beauty. This is the Ofra Highlight in Peppermint. Ofra highlighters are in my top 3. I think that they're incredible. They're very metallic but look smooth on the cheek. I never feel like they look glittery. Something about this peppermint shade though is just not as special. I feel like when I'm blending it out on my hand, it kind of disappears a little bit. It's much more subtle, which is very surprising to me. I feel like all Ofra highlighters have had the same formula, and this one is just not wowing me. So I want to play with it more, of course, and maybe with different brushes, but I am disappointed in the fact that this isn't as metallic as their other highlights. Then from REM, I got the highlight topper in Miss Mercury, which is just the champagne shade. There are a few more fun shades in the range. This is just a champagne, and it's okay. I don't think there's anything special about this. It's just a regular old champagne. I will get some use out of this. I had gotten this as a free gift, which was exciting, but yeah, not special. Wouldn't buy it. Might be something that ends up getting decluttered later. And then my last highlights would be from What's Up Beauty, the Serengeti highlighters. What's Up Beauty is so amazing. They have such great packaging and such great attention to detail. So you've got a lovely little lion cub embossed in here. So this is Safari Sunset and this is Wild Acacia. And as you can see, this is the lighter one, but the highlighters have 2 different shades in them, which can be used individually or mixed together. There's enough product in there, and the shape is in a way so that you easily can use either one. And these are amazing. They're very pigmented. They have a nice metallic finish, no glitter. They're super smooth, and I love the shades of these, so definitely recommend these the most out of all of these highlighters. Now moving on to eyes, I have this Urban Decay Moon Dust eyeshadow in Lithium, and I use this as a shadow on its own, and it actually did have a lot of pigment to the base. Now this is one of the deepest shades of the Moon Dust, but it was nice and glittery, but it was not just a topper. I do think that this is a special shade. It's nice and smoky. You guys know I don't go for very deep shades, but I did like this one. And I paired it with the 2 matte Kaja Bento stacks. So this is Velvet Dream. You've got the cream color. This gorgeous brown tan. I liked that one the most, of course. And then I use this shade as well. Such a gorgeous warm brown. And then you have the more cool tone one, which is called Neutral Moment. The cream shade. The medium tan shade, which almost has like a slight hint of shimmer in there, unless I just picked that up from another shade on my brush. And then the deep matte. Really impressed with these. I did feel like these were pigmented and blended out nicely. So I really enjoyed all of these. Then I used this Charlotte Tilbury Hypnotizing Pop Shot in Pillow Talk Diamonds. And this was a thicker shimmer shadow, very metallic, very pretty. I liked the way that this applied and looked on the eyes. I still think it's ridiculous that these were limited edition. Charlotte should bring them back and make them permanent because they seem so special. So really happy that I have this one. This was a gift from Laura from Discerning Spark. Then I have some other palettes. This is REM palette in Babydoll. We've got 2 metallics and 4 mattes in here, and this is fine. Nothing special. I do feel like the shimmers are actually better than the mattes. They were very pigmented. You did have a bit of a metallic shine. They're not as like insanely metallic as a lot of indies are. And the mattes were pigmented, blended out nicely. This in the pan looks like a nice red brown on my eyes. The red was not showing up. this is something that I think I'm going to end up decluttering. It's just not special. I mean, I know the colors aren't special, but I thought the formula might be really exciting. I wanted to try it, but no, I really just don't recommend that. Then I have the Juvia's Place and Vanessa palette. I have not used this shade yet, but this is a really amazing duochrome. These mattes are very pigmented, blend out nicely. This is a really great neutral palette that I definitely would recommend picking up. I don't think you'll be disappointed. These were very pigmented, blended out nicely. Then I have the Glamlite Pie palette, and I have used all the shades in here except for these two reds and purples and this color. Everything else has been used, including the blush. The blush is a little bit more sheer, which I was disappointed by. Glamlite, I feel like, is known for really pigmented blushes, but this is a bit of an older release, so maybe that's just something that's happened with newer collections. But I was very impressed with this formula. The mattes were very pigmented, they blended nicely. The shimmers are nice and metallic, but not necessarily like bam metallic. So this is something that I'm gonna play with a little bit more, but I don't know if this will end up staying in my collection, but I'm really glad I got to try this out. And then I have just a few lippies. First is something that I just decluttered yesterday to my friend Lauren. It was the REM Beauty Lip Oil in lavender something. It had no color to it. It did have a lavender scent, which wasn't my favorite. I don't know why we're putting flowers on our mouth, but it had a nice like glossy finish. It felt nice when you applied it, but I feel like it actually ended up drying out my lips, so I don't want it. I don't need it. Then I have the Charlotte Tilbury Kissing Lipstick in Candy Chic, which is one of the newer shades. I got this with my Ulta points, and this is a really pretty warm pink coral type of shade. I really like the color of this. I think it's a great brighter color for me for summer. I now have 3 full sizes of Charlotte Tilbury lipsticks, and I'm not going to buy any more. I think that these are fine. They're good, but they don't blow me away. I've told you guys before, I'm super picky about bullet lipsticks, and usually I don't love the way that they settle on the inner part of my lip. This one I think is totally fine, but very expensive. I don't need more of them, and I really do prefer that more like glossy balmy trend that's going around. I like that lip formula the best, but I am happy that I have this. I think it was a good use of my points. I don't really have a color exactly like that. And then one of which I'm wearing today, I have these In Beauty Project lip glazes that were in collaboration with Poppi. I'm not sure if these are still available because I got them at the end of the year because of State of Kate, and these have a really great smell and taste. The pink is Raspberry Rose, and this is Cranberry Fizz. That's what I'm wearing today. These are a bit of a thicker gloss, but they're not very sticky. They're very smooth. They are a little bit more long wearing. As they wear off, they do get a little bit tacky, but I do really like these. I think they're great. I do have several other shades. I don't think I'm going to go out and buy every color. I still like Tower 28 a bit more, but that is a totally different formula. It is a lot more slippy and thinner and more serumy, which I tend to prefer, but I do think these are really nice, and I love the amount of opacity because, again, I don't really wear bright shades, but these are super wearable and look very beautiful for summertime. Here are swatches of the In Beauty glosses. So those are my thoughts on all of the new things that I tried out over the past month. I would love to hear your thoughts if you guys have tried these things. And if I'm going to give you my top recommendations, I would say the Tear Cushion Foundation, Urban Decay Face Bond, Persona Blush Stick in Bloom, the What's Up Beauty Serengeti highlighters, and the In Beauty Project lip glazes. There were a lot of other things here that I thought were good, but those are definitely my top favorites of everything I tried this month. I would love to hear your thoughts if you've tried these products. I would love to know what new things you tried over the past month. I want to thank you all so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.